Hey everybody, my name is Amanda Ziba. I am a support instructor here at Western, and today I want to talk to you about presentation anxiety and how to handle it. This video could be for anyone, but specifically made for you as students in the communications department classes currently at Western, and I know that this is something that a lot of people experience, so I want to give you some tips and tricks to help you make it through your next speech or presentation. The first thing that I want you to know is that you are not alone. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, approximately 74% of people suffer from some form of speech anxiety. So if you're feeling this way, I don't want you to compound your stress and anxiety by thinking that you are the only one who struggles with this. Lots and lots of people struggle with this, okay? Being scared is not a failure. Being sweaty and blushing up in front of the room is not a failure. That is normal. You are normal, and we're going to get through this together. In fact, this fear is so normal that it even has a specific name. Glossophobia is the fear of public speaking, and some studies show that some people are more afraid of speaking publicly than dying. So you might be saying, okay, Amanda, I get it. We're all afraid. What are we going to do about it? I'm glad you asked. In this video, we're going to talk about three things. We're going to talk about some mindsets, we're going to talk about some tips and tricks, and finally, I'm going to finish up with some more resources in case you want to dive deeper into this topic. See, everybody makes mistakes. It's okay. We just keep going. First up, we're going to talk about some mindsets that we can use when we are feeling speech anxiety. I used to be a person who had a lot of speech anxiety. In fact, I still do a little bit. And for me, my speech anxiety manifests in my body turning red. Like, not just my face, we're talking about my neck, like all the way down to my shoulders. And I felt like that was super embarrassing and that people were looking at that more than they were looking at me. And I shared this with somebody once saying, like, gosh, I just get up there and I'm so embarrassed. And he's like, you're looking at this the wrong way. He said, your body is so passionate about the thing that you are sharing that it can't help but get in on the performance. Like, you have so much energy and excitement around your topic that your body is reacting in this way. So you could even just say, like, hey, y'all, I know I'm going to turn red up here, but I need you to know I'm fine. I'm just really, really excited and passionate about the things that I have to share with you. So don't worry about that. I'm not going to pass out. I'm ready to go and super excited to be here. I also dress knowing that this happens to me. So I will often wear like mock turtlenecks when I have to speak for something that I'm very nervous about, so that even if my cheeks turn red, they cannot see that the whole rest of me is also very, very red. And that helps me to feel a little bit more calm and a little bit more confident, thus decreasing the amount of redness I sometimes show. Another thing to think about is that we feel like speaking in front of our classmates or giving a presentation at work is scary. But I have found that the more speeches and the more presentations I do in front of bigger and bigger audiences and scarier things, that then when I go back to the things that used to scare me, they don't scare me anymore because I'm like, hey, I already survived this other thing that was way more nerve wracking. So if you're feeling nervous about presenting to your class, something that you could do is you could give your speech or your presentation to a group of people that's even scarier. Now, personally, to me, performing for strangers is a lot less scary than performing for people that I know, because the people I know, their opinions matter to me. Their reactions matter more to me. So maybe for you, this is giving your presentation to your roommates or to your family members. Or to the people on your floor in the dorm who are going to think that, gosh, this girl is like an overachiever dork, and like that anxiety performing for them is going to like make performing in front of your class, where you have to do this no matter what for an assignment, feel a little like less pressure. So take whatever you're going to do and perform it for somebody scarier than your classmates, and then when you give it to your classmates, it'll feel like no big thing. Um, Another thing that I was taught is that the antidote to fear is service. So if you think about how afraid you are to perform or to give your speech or to share your information, I want you to think about the ways in which that information is going to help the people who are listening to it. And I want your service, your sharing that information, to be more important than the fear. So a lot of times we're allowed to pick the topic that we want to speak on. It's something that's very important to us. And so we need to let that knowledge, the importance of sharing that knowledge, be more important than our fear. Because if we let our fear win and get in the way of sharing that information, we're being really selfish. We're caring more about ourselves than our audience and the people who could benefit from that information. So just remind yourself that service is the antidote to fear. And the last thing, mindset that I want you to think about is that I want you to remember that all speakers and all speeches look and sound different. And so spending time comparing your speech and your presentation and your appearance and the way that you sound to other people and other people's performances and speeches is just a waste of time. It's not relevant, okay? Everybody's different. Everybody's coming at this from a different set of life experiences, a different set of expertise. And so don't waste your time comparing. It's not worth it. Okay. So real quick, take your weakness, turn it into your superpower. Me turning red, it's not me being embarrassed. It's me being super passionate about what I want to share. Number 2, do something scarier. And then this will seem like no big deal. Service is the antidote to fear, and comparison is the thief of joy. All right, here we go. I've got some tips and tricks for you, 4 of them. Number 1 is to practice in the car, because likely, at least when I drive, I'm the only one in the car, and I could listen to the radio songs that I've listened to a billion times before, but I could also use that time to practice. You can talk out loud. Nobody's there to hear you. Nobody's going to walk into the room suddenly and you're going to feel embarrassed. You just get to talk it all out. Start at the beginning and then keep going. Get as far as you possibly can. In the car, you also don't really get the chance to look at your notes because like you're driving, you should be paying attention to the road. So it's a good way to check to see if you really do remember everything. And it's a great way to multitask. As you're driving to and from campus, as you're driving to and from the grocery store and all of your errands, it doesn't matter that we're stuck in the car for 20 minutes because we can be getting this done. We can be practicing how that sounds out loud, and we get repetitive practice multitasking in our life. Win, 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 win. Okay, number 2, you can do some deep breathing and calming exercises before you go into your speech. So whether that's walking out into the hallway, getting a drink, taking a deep breath, reminding yourself that you are confident, you are capable, you are calm, like giving yourself a little pep talk before you go into there. It sounds kind of silly, but it is very, very effective. Tip number 3 is something called grounding, and that is to help you feel rooted in the physical space. I remember when I was in college and I had to give a presentation one time, I got exceptionally nervous for really no good reason. And like it was almost like that tunnel vision, like black out, like I wasn't even there. And so if that's sometimes the way that you feel, this grounding strategy can be really helpful for you. And what you need to do is you need to physically remind yourself that you are in this space. Okay? It might be putting something in your pocket that you can just like rub when you get nervous, okay? Or it might be like having a ring on your finger or a bracelet that you can just sometimes touch, or maybe it's a little tighter than usual just to like physically have that sensation. I've even heard of people putting like a pebble or something in their shoe so that as they're standing up there, they like feel this uncomfortable thing. And so a little bit of their brain is distracted by this discomfort, and then that takes precedence over feeling nervous or anxious by the audience in front of them. Okay, so grounding. How can you physically remind your body that you are here in this place? Maybe distract your subconscious a little bit so that you forget about your worry and you think a little bit more about that uncomfortable physical sensation that you are having on purpose, because you put it there for a reason. And then the 4th one is to find a friendly face in the crowd. So maybe you have a friend in that class that you feel more comfortable with, or maybe it's the instructor, and you feel more comfortable with them because like they're the grown-up in charge of the room that made you do this thing, and so you're doing it there, not because you're like bragging or arrogant or showing off, but because you're there to complete a task. So find a friendly face in the audience and try to look up at them and go to them during your speech. Sometimes when people are just like sitting back, like checked out, bored, like it's really hard to feel like they care about what you have to say. But typically in an audience, the instructor at the very least will be nodding and will be smiling and will be making eye contact with you, and those giving you those like gestures, those reactions to help you know that what you're saying is landing with someone and therefore worthwhile, and you should keep going. Okay, so practice in your car, deep breathing, calm, positive mindset before you head in, grounding, and then also finding a friendly face in the crowd. These are 4 tips and tricks that can help you reduce your speech anxiety. All right, if you want to dig more into this topic, I've got 3 sources of information for you. Far over there on the far side, it's some advice from Mayo Clinic on how to reduce stress anxiety during speeches. Right next to me here is from the University of Iowa. They have 30 different tips and tricks and considerations that can help you all the way from like preparing for the speech to what you do when you wake up on the day of your speech to delivering your speech. So lots of great information there. And then finally, straight up above for me is your open education resource textbook for this class and the specific chapter that your instructors will probably mention in class about how to increase your speaking confidence. Lots of great information for you in all 3 of these sources, and I will be sure to link them below for you so that you can check them out if you want even more help on this topic. All right, friends, that is all from me. But before I go, I want to let you know that I am cheering for you. I am wishing you good luck and letting you know that you have got this. Just like Glennon Doyle says, we can do hard things, and I know that you can do this. If you need any more help, visiting the Learning Commons and the tutors and the Writing Center might be a great place. It's not might be, it is. It's definitely a great place for you to go. You can also always reach out to me via email, and I will put that down in the video description box for you. So hang in there. You can beat this, and you're going to do great. I believe in you.